Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angelisa, and on this channel we read, discuss, and obsess over books together. And today I'm going to be doing a tier ranking of all of my reads for 2024. I asked you guys in my last video what you want to see for my 2024 reads, and a few people said tier ranking, so I decided to do that. I will be telling you guys what I originally rated the book after I read it, and just like whether or not I would recommend it, and then I will place it into a tier, which I feel like the tier will definitely let you know if I recommend it or not. And I will be doing a top 10 books and go really in depth of like my top 10 reads for 2024, which will be coming out soon. Anyway, stay tuned and let's get into the tier ranking. Really quick, I forgot to tell you guys my 2024 like storygraph statistics. So I want to quickly just like run through those with you really quick. So I read 83 books in 2024 for a total of 32,191 pages. My average time to finish a book was 21 days, which is about 3 weeks, which makes sense because some books I would finish really fast and others I was taking a really long time. My moods were, this was in order of most frequent. Mostly they were emotional, dark, tense, mysterious, funny, lighthearted, and adventurous, and then a few of them were hopeful, reflective, sad, relaxing, informative, challenging, and inspiring. For page number, most of them were like the average page length, 300 to 499 pages, 87% of them, and then I had 7% that was above 500 and 6% that were under 300. 96% of my books were fiction, so it's 80 of them, and I only read 3 nonfiction. In terms of genres, I read 33 romance, 25 contemporary, 21 thriller, 18 fantasy, 12 literary, 12 mystery, 11 young adult, 9 historical, 4 dystopian, 4 LGBTQ, 2 crime, 2 horror, 2 memoir, 2 magical realism, 2 erotica, 2 middle grade, 1 psychology, 1 science fiction, 1 self-help, and 1 sports. My most read authors were Julia Quinn, Sarah J. Maas, Suzanne Collins, and Abby Jimenez, followed by Lisa Jewell, Ali Hazelwood, and Karin Slaughter, and then J.K. Rowling, Christina Lauren, and Emily McIntyre. My average star rating this year was 4.11 stars, which I think is really good. Like, a lot of them were high, but I only had 14 5-star books this year, which is interesting to me. Anyway, that's the storygraph statistics. Let's get into the tier ranking. I should probably start off by explaining the tiers. So I put 6 tiers actually, and the reason why I did that was because I feel like I have like 5 stars and I have 6 stars, and it needed an extra tier. So at the very bottom is someone tried, and that's what counts. So these are going to be for like books that I didn't really like, but like someone tried, you know, like they really tried, and that counts for something. And then the next tier up is going to be forgot it exists. I feel like these are just going to be books that like were forgettable. They weren't bad, but like I forgot about them literally after I finished reading them. The next tier up is going to be lukewarm latte vibes. Like, you know when you have like a lukewarm latte and like it's not great, but it's not terrible. So it's tolerable, you know? The next tier up is I'd Let It Borrow My Hoodie. So this to me is like books that like I really like. Like I like them, like I like people who I would let borrow my hoodie. Like I like them enough to let them borrow my hoodie. I enjoyed it. It made me feel a little cozy, you know? The next tier up, second tier, is gonna be I have no notes on this masterpiece. So this is just like, to me, like it's a great book. It's like basically a 5-star to me. And then the top tier is this book could punch me and I'd say thank you. Yeah, so those are my tiers. Let's get started. The first book I read of 2024 was Heir. This is immediately going in the this book could punch me and I'd say thank you. I rated it 5 stars. I would recommend the whole series. Like, just go and read it. And like with that is also A Court of Thorns and Roses. Also, this book could punch me and I'd say thank you. Actually, I did rate this book 5 stars, but in hindsight, having read the other ones, I'm gonna put this in I have no notes on this masterpiece. I thought it was a really good book. A lot of people like didn't love it compared to the other ones, but I thought it was really good and I rated it 5 stars without even reading the other ones yet. Next, I read None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This one is also I have no notes on this masterpiece. I loved it. I rated it 5 stars and I really liked it. I thought it was really well written and it was so different from Lisa Jewell's regular, like, usual stuff. Next one is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. My good sir, where are you? Ah, here you are. I would let it borrow my hoodie. Yeah, I would let it borrow my hoodie. I rated this one 4.5 stars, but I thought it was really cute. Like, I would let it borrow my hoodie. I love the vibes of this book. I thought it was great. After that, I read Twisted Hate, and oh my god, okay, this book broke me in the best way. Like, it could punch me and I'd say thank you. It did punch me and I said thank you. I did rate it 5 stars. I think this is my favorite Huang book so far, so I would recommend the whole series. Definitely read it in order because there is spoilers in the other ones. The next one I have is The Maidens. I honestly forgot that this book existed. I always forget that I read it. I think at the time I rated 3.5 stars, but now, like, I don't even know what that book was about. I have no idea. Like, I have no memory of that book. Most books, like, I can read the synopsis and, like, I remember, like, oh, okay, yeah, that happened. But this book, no memory. Next, I have The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. This one gave kind of lukewarm latte vibes, to be honest. I did rate it 4 stars, but in hindsight, it definitely gave lukewarm latte vibes. Like, I still liked it, but now I've read other Lisa Jewell books, this one isn't my favorite. So yeah, lukewarm latte vibes. Like, I liked it. It was tolerable. Like, I would let it borrow my hoodie, but not as much as Harry Potter. Like, maybe I would let it borrow, like, a jacket. I feel like hoodie's more personal than jacket. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Next is The Hunger Games. So although I rated this one 4.5 stars, I am going to put it in I have no notes on this masterpiece. I love the Hunger Games books. I think they are so good. And actually with that is Catching Fire. I read that next. I also rated this 4.5 stars. And again, no notes. Love it. I think it's so good. I think you should read the whole series. Okay, the next I have is A Caller's Game by J.D. Barker, I think. I'd let this book borrow my hoodie, although I'm terrified of this book. I rated it 4.5 stars. It was very fast-paced, very good. I have a few notes, though. So I think I'd let it borrow my hoodie. I'd let it borrow my hoodie. After that is The Spanish Love Deception. I'm going to say lukewarm latte vibes. I rated it 4 stars. However, I do recall there being one thing about this that like really icked me, and for that reason it's lukewarm latte vibes, because it kind of like gave me a little lukewarm latte vibe type of vibe. Back to The Hunger Games, I read Mockingjay. Have no notes. I rated 4.5 stars again. After that, I read The Love Wager, which I rated this one 4.25 stars, and I would let it borrow my hoodie. I loved this book. I thought it was so cute. It was very cozy, very, I think Valentine's Day at the time is when I read it. And I did like it a lot. Next, I read Pieces of Her by Karin Slaughter. And I feel like I only read this book because I wanted to read another Karin Slaughter book. Pieces of Her, I think, is gonna give lukewarm latte vibes. Actually, no, I'd let it borrow my hoodie. I like that book. I remember the plot now. I was literally thinking about it. And I'm like, yeah, I thought it was interesting. I liked it. It was a good thriller. Karin Slaughter is a very good writer. But I did rate it like 4 stars. Next, I read Never Lie. Okay, I'm gonna be so honest. I rated this book 4.25 stars. Forgot it exists. I have no idea what it's about. I don't know why I liked it. I could not tell you a single thing about this book, but I did rate it 4.25 stars, so take that where you will. Next, Tessa Bailey, Secretly Yours. Usually love her books. I don't know what happened here. I really don't. I rated it 2 stars. I feel like I was being really nice. There were some aspects of it that were like cool or whatever, but for the most part, didn't really enjoy this book, to be honest. Next, Somebody's Daughter by Ashley Seaford. I have no notes on this masterpiece. I feel like I can't. I loved the book. I thought it was a great memoir, and it was just very insightful, different than any memoir I've ever read, and her story is her story. Love it. The True Love Experiment. I only rated this one 4.75 stars, but this book could punch me, and I'd say thank you. I loved Fizzy. Fizzy was great. I loved her so much. Once More with Feeling. I rated this 1 star, and I don't even know if someone tried in this one, but that's where it's going. I feel like this is more of the like brain cells were lost type of tier. That was my other choice for this bottom tier, but yeah, it's a no for me. Next, The Paris Apartment, lukewarm latte vibes. I rated this one 3.5 stars. It was okay. I just remember it being not, like, I was underwhelmed by the ending and how the plot ended up being, but it was still good. Like, it was okay. Lukewarm latte vibes, you know? Next, I read Scarred, which I was pleasantly surprised by, and I'd let it borrow my hoodie. I have a few notes. I did rate it 4.75 stars, but in hindsight, like it wasn't a 5-star for me. That's why I didn't rate it 5 stars. But I don't know. I let it borrow my hoodie. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a good book. Then I read First Lie Wins. Rated this one 4 stars as well. I would let it borrow my hoodie. I really liked how this book was written. I thought the concept was very interesting. I was a bit confused at first, but then once I caught on, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, and then I reread The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book could punch me and I'd say thank you. I love this book. Thank you. I feel like I don't need to say much more about it. Like, it's the second time reading it, rated it 5 stars again. Loved it. Then I read The Assassin's Blade, and oh my lord. This book could punch me and I'd say thank you. It broke me in the best freaking way. I remember reading this book and literally sobbing the entire time. And then I reread it and sobbed the entire time. Okay, and then I read Ricochet. I would let this borrow my hoodie. I rated it 4.5 stars. I thought it was a very good second book for the story. I did enjoy it. I am wanting to go further into the series soon, hopefully. But yeah, I really liked it. I would recommend it. Next, I read Anna O. I have no notes on this masterpiece. I rated it 4.5 stars, but I just remember really enjoying it and finding it very intriguing and like not knowing what was gonna happen at all. Then I reread A Court of Mist and Fury. This book could punch me, I'd say thank you. My favorite ACOTAR book, one of my favorite fantasy books of all time. And then I read Magnolia Parks. This book, where are you, queen? Show yourself. There you are. This book could and did punch me and I would say thank you. Yes, Magnolia Parks. Oof, I really want to continue the series, but I'm actually scared. Next, I read Wretched by Emily McIntyre. This one I rated 3.75 stars, and it was definitely giving lukewarm latte vibes. I remember it being like, okay, it's okay, but I wasn't as impressed by it as I was for like Scarred. But I think I liked it better than Hooked, which I read the year prior. Next, I read Yellowface, and this was kind of the same type of vibe. I rated it 3.75 stars and lukewarm latte vibes. Like, the entire premise of it and the lessons you get and everything were good, but the actual, like, book itself I found kind of slow, and I feel like there were so many other things that the author could have done with the book. And being the author of, like, the Poppy War and, like, all, like, those bigger fantasy books, I was kind of like underwhelmed by Yellowface. It's obviously not a fantasy book, but still. Anyway, that's besides the point. Moving on, I read An Offer from the Gentleman. Sorry, not An Offer from the Gentleman. An Offer from a Gentleman. And while it's like I didn't forget it existed, I kind of wish I did. I rated it 2 stars because honestly, I was so disappointed by the plot of this. I was so mad by what they did with this plot and just everything that happened and how like not love story it was. It was actually like kind of annoying. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Next, I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. This book could punch me and I'd say thank you. I love every Emily Henry book that I read. I think they're so good. And that's not even just because she is who she is. They are just so good. That's it. Next, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'd let this borrow my hoodie. I liked this book. I thought it was a great addition to the series. I really liked knowing about Snow and just like learning about him. So I'd let it borrow my hoodie. Next, I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and this book could punch me and I would say thank you. Thank you. Every Abby Jimenez book I've read has hurt me in the best way and I love it. So I did rate this one 5 stars as well, and I thought it was really good. And then speaking of 5 stars, I also read Flawless. That was also a book that could punch me and I'd say thank you. I loved that book so much. Like, it was ridiculously good. The next one I read was The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. This is on her like older ones. This one I let borrow my hoodie. I did have notes on this one. There was something about it that I remember not liking. I don't remember what it was exactly right now, but I still really like this book. Like, overall, I really like this book. It's one of my favorite books. I did rate it 4 stars though. Clytemnestra. This one, I have no notes on this masterpiece. I rated it 5 stars and I loved it. Like, it was genuinely one of the best feminist Greek mythology books I've ever read. And I hope, like, she's actually coming out with another book this month, Babylonia by Costanza Casati. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Our book club's reading it and I'm very, very excited. Speaking of Greek mythologies, I also read Circe and I would let it borrow my hoodie. I really liked Circe. I thought it was really good. I thought that you got to learn a lot about the myth and it was really, really fun. Like, it was unlike anything I've read, but again, just like in its own way. Next, I read Happily Ever After Playlist. This one I would let borrow my hoodie as well. It's a second book for The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I really like that one. I rated it 4 stars. Then I read Mountains Made of Glass. I'm gonna be so honest, I don't remember this book at all. So unfortunately it is going in the Forgot It Exists, although I rated it 3.5 stars, so it couldn't have been that bad. I just know it's a novella and I don't really remember what it was about if I'm being honest. Next, I read Alone with You in the Ether, and this one, I have no notes on this masterpiece. I rated it 4.5 stars, but I genuinely think the book exists how it should, exactly the way it is, and I loved everything about it. Like, I want to reread it again and go through my annotations and like add more, because I just thought it was so good. Like, I don't know what it was about that book, but I really liked it. 5 Survive was the next one, and this one I rated 4.5 stars, and honestly I would probably say I'd let it borrow my hoodie because I liked it, but one of the characters really bothered me, so I do have notes on that. Next, I read Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, and this one was lukewarm latte vibes for some reason. I don't know what happened. I rated it 3.5 stars. I didn't like it as much. I think it was like a little bit too much emphasis on like erotica and stuff for me. I don't know, but that was just my personal opinion. I rated it 3.5 stars, which is very low for like Ali Hazelwood books for me. Next, I read The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This one I rated 4.5 stars, and I would let it borrow my hoodie. This one was so cozy and cute. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a YA, which I feel like for some reason YAs are always missing an element for me, because I am not like 16, 17, 18 anymore. So the way that I experience relationships now is different from like YA books, but they're still like super cute for me. Thank God Bridgerton got better, and I read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, of course, and I rated this one 4.25 stars, and yeah, I would let it borrow my hoodie. I did really love this story between Penelope and Colin. Like, I thought it was really cute. And then I kind of got in the mood to read Queen Charlotte, which like I'm pretty sure was written like when the show came out, and I ended up rating it 4.5 stars. And honestly, I have no notes. I love that book. I thought it was really good. I don't know why I didn't rate it a full 5 stars. Maybe it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but I truly don't really have notes on it. Like, I thought it was really good. I found the history element of it like really interesting and fun. Next, I read Stone Blind, and I would let it borrow my hoodie. This was a Medusa retelling. I rated it 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite feminist retelling, but I still really liked it. The writing style was a little bit different. It also changed POVs a lot, so sometimes I'd be confused about what POV I was like reading from, but I still would let it borrow my hoodie. Next, I read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Rated this one 4.5 stars, and honestly no notes on this masterpiece. This was one of the Lisa Jewell books like I really liked. I thought it was so well written and kept me on my toes, and I at no point expected what was going to happen. Next was Family of Liars. Honestly forgot it exists. Don't remember what happened. I know it's like a prequel. I rated it 2 stars. It just wasn't that memorable, to be honest. Hook, Line, and Sinker. Rated this one 4.75 stars. Really liked this one. I'm gonna say I have no notes on this masterpiece because I remember liking this one a lot better than the first one. Next, I read Heartless. That belongs all the way up here with This Book Could Punch Me, and I'd say thank you. No notes, 5 stars. Then I read Other Heartless. I rated this one 4.5 stars, but honestly in hindsight, like, I should have rated this 5 stars. I really liked Heartless by Marissa Meyer. It's a Queen of Hearts retelling, like a prequel to Alice in Wonderland, kind of like how Queen of Hearts came to be who she was. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then I read The Paradise Problem, and this is one that I rated 4.75 stars, and this one was also like, I have no notes. I thought it was so cute and had a very important lesson about like families and like wealth disparities and all that stuff. Next, I read This Summer Will Be Different, and I rated it 4 stars. So yeah, I'd let it borrow my hoodie. I did like it better than her other ones. I think it was just like, I loved the scenes in like PEI. Like all of the descriptions of PEI really I liked. Next, I read The House in the Cerulean Sea, and I would also let this borrow my hoodie. I rated it 4 stars. I thought it was so cute. It was just so like cozy and simple, and I really liked it. So that is gonna go in I let it borrow my hoodie. Then I read Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter. Rated that one 4 stars as well. That's gonna go in I Let It Borrow My Hoodie. That's like the second book to Pieces of Her. So Girl Forgotten is the second book. And yeah, I think I rated them like both like 4 stars. After that, I read another Karin Slaughter book. I read Pretty Girls, and this one I actually liked more. I rated 4.5, but I'm also gonna put in like I Let It Borrow My Hoodie because it was good. I did rate it higher than the other one. Then I read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Rated that one 4.5 stars. I have no notes. I thought that one was so funny and so cute and dealt with some really interesting topics as well, like really tough topics. And then I read One of Us Is Back by Karen McManus. I rated this one 3.75 stars. It was definitely like lukewarm latte vibes. It definitely felt like a third book that just like needed to finish off the trilogy, but it was still like interesting and I did enjoy it. Like I didn't think it was terrible. It was just, you know, lukewarm. Then I read A Little Life, and I'm just gonna place this here. I rated it 1 star, and I had like a whole rant about it in a video, and I just don't want to go over it again. Yeah, I read the whole thing. It wasn't for me. Next, I read An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. This was a nonfiction I read by Chris Hadfield, and I rated this one 3.75 stars. I would say it's a lukewarm vibe. Like, I thought it was interesting. I enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobook, and his voice is, like, really cool, but I don't think I would, like, read it again, so. Next, I read Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So this one I'd let borrow my hoodie. I thought it was a really good quick thriller. I rated it 4 stars. And yeah, it was really fun. Home Before Dark, I have no notes on this masterpiece. I rated 4.5 stars. It's also by Riley Sager, and I just thought it was so fun. Everything that happened in it, the whole, like, her dad writing a book about a haunted house that they lived in was such an interesting concept for me, and it was definitely one of the more memorable ones that I've read, so yeah. To Sir Philip with Love. This is another Bridgerton book, and honestly, I'm gonna say lukewarm latte vibes. I rated it 3 stars. It was okay. I didn't, like, love it, but I didn't hate it. Then I read A Flicker in the Dark, and I have no idea what happened in this book. I rated it 2.5 stars, and I literally, like, I have no idea what happened. I forgot it completely, so that's probably a sign. Next, I read How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, and I'm gonna put this in lukewarm latte vibes because honestly, I was just so confused by this. Like, so many things happen, and by the end of it, like, I rated 3.5 stars, and I was just like, what happened in this book? Like, I have no idea what happened in this book and what is real, and it's very, like, poltergeisty, so depends if you like that stuff. I think I needed, like, a palette cleanse after that, so in terms of, like, thrillers, I ended up reading Sharp Objects, which is, like, very thrilly, dark, not so comedic, and I rated this one 4 stars, and I would let this borrow my hoodie. I feel like it's a really weird book to say that you'd let borrow your hoodie, but I liked it. Like, I thought it was a well-written thriller. I love Gillian Flynn's writing style. Then I read All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham, and I ended up rating this one 4.25 stars, and I'd also let this borrow my hoodie. This was another good thriller that, like, I was thankful that it was good because after reading A Flicker in the Dark and, like, forgetting that it, like, what it's about, I was kind of scared. So next, we read All's Well by Mona Awad, and this one I'd let borrow my hoodie. It was interesting to me. I thought that it was very interesting concept. Her books always have a little element of, like, unreliable narrator, magical realism, so I was excited to read this one. I loved the cover of it, and yeah, so I ended up rating it 4 stars. I thought it was good. Also rated 4 stars was Midnight is the Darkest Hour. This one I would probably say I'd let borrow my actually, I'm gonna be honest, I remember the ending of this book, but I don't remember anything else, so I'm gonna have to put in Forget It Exists. I don't remember anything in the middle of the book, but I did rate it 4 stars. So I remember it being a really good ending, but I don't remember anything else. Like, I literally forgot what this book was about. Sometimes I forget that I read it. Like, I'll be looking through my books and I'm like, did I read that yet? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I did. Anyway, moving on. I next read Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I rated 3.75 stars, but I would let it borrow my hoodie. Like, I thought this one was pretty good. I liked the chess vibes. I liked the main characters. I don't remember what I didn't like about it, to be honest. I'm sure if I look back at, like, my reading blog, I'll know, but we're gonna say I'd let it borrow my hoodie. Same thing with The Berry Pickers. I let it borrow my hoodie. I rated it 4 stars. I thought it was good. It's like an indigenous kind of mystery thriller, and I thought it was really good. The Rules of Magic, same thing. I would let it borrow my hoodie. I rated that one 4.5 stars though. I really like the magical element in it, and I do like Practical Magic, like the movie, and I want to read the book. So I want to read this one first, I think. But I think this is the second one. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm figuring it out. Then after that, I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And although I rate it 4 stars, I'm gonna put it in lukewarm latte vibe. No. I'd let it borrow my hoodie. Yeah, I did like that book. I remember being very intrigued by the world and everything. Not so much the romance, but the world was very interesting to me. So, in terms of Not Your Ex's Hexes, this is the opposite. I was disappointed by this. I'm gonna put in lukewarm latte vibes. I was expecting a lot more from it because I really liked the first book in that series, which is called, what is it called? Oh, Not the Witch You Wed. Like, I loved that book. I think I rated it 5 stars or something. I love the world building in it, but this took place nowhere near where everything else took place. Next I read Ariadne, and this one I rated 4 stars, and I would let it borrow my hoodie. This was another Greek mythology retelling that I did enjoy. It was my favorite, but I still really enjoyed it. And then I read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I rated this one 4.5 stars. I have no notes. I love that book. I thought it was so cute. Yeah, I love the Harry Potter books. They're so, I've been reading them, and so far I really enjoy them. Legends and Lattes, I let it borrow my hoodie. It was so cozy, so cute, loved the characters, loved the whole story, loved the vibes in it. I almost feel like it gives lukewarm latte vibes, but not. So I'm gonna put it in I'd let it borrow my hoodie. Then I read It's Not You. I rated 4 stars, but I'm gonna put it in I have no notes because I feel like everybody should read this. It's just a book about narcissism and how to deal with it in your life and kind of not convince yourself that it's your fault. So yeah, do with that what you will, but it's going in no notes. Then I read The Hazelwood, and this one I let borrow my hoodie. I thought it was so cute. I loved The Hazelwood. The ending was super fun. Did not expect it at all, and just the concept of being stuck in a fairy tale world from a book is really cool to me, so I really liked this one. And then I read Finley Donovan is Killing It. I'd also let this borrow my hoodie. I rated it 4.25 stars. I thought it was so much fun. The whole cozy mystery comedy type of book is really fun for me, so I think I'm definitely gonna read more of those now that I've been exposed. Next I read How to End a Love Story. I rated this one 4 stars. I'm gonna put lukewarm latte vibes though. There was things in this that really did bother me and kind of distracted me from the book that would have made it a 5-star. And I don't know if I'd let it borrow my hoodie because it kind of gave me icky vibes sometimes. The main character really icked me sometimes. So yeah. Anyway, the last book that I read of the year was The Ministry of Time. I rated this one 4.5 stars. I really liked it, and honestly, I have no notes. I think the book is fine the way it was. It could have been a little bit more fast-paced, but the essence of the book, I really enjoyed, and yeah, I don't know. I just really like them. Anyway, this is my tier ranking. Honestly, not bad. I think it's not that bad. I only forgot the plot of 7 books. 3 of them I'm putting all the way down there. I feel kind of mean, but honestly, that's where it's going. And I have a solid 10 to 11 books that could beat the crap out of me, and I'd be fine with it. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was just my quick way of giving you guys a wrap up without me talking too much. Stay tuned for the top 10 video where I go more in depth about probably these 10 to 11 books that are sitting up here. We'll see. It might be that I just go through and choose ones that just resonated with me, even if they weren't in these books could punch me and I'd say thank you. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.